Yo, all right. So we were just talking about kind of not editing, but you were working on your computer,
Yeah.
and I wanted to get to the episode so I could say never again,
What?
ever, 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 ever. I'm never doing it again.
Doing
I'm
what?
never doing it again. Where I'm never like putting in a hard drive, or I don't even know if I'll like sign into Wi-Fi. Listen,
Uh-oh.
I hope that shout out to my dad because he does listen on occasion. He needs to know that he's the reason why I will never work on computers again.
I, First of all, I want to make sure that I'm understanding what you're saying correctly. So please do expound.
Listen, here's what happens when your parents get older and you have certain knowledge of technology, right? You end up being the tech guy. I'm not a tech guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you are.
And
actually, your brother technically isn't. Your brother's supposed to be the tech
my
guy?
brother's the tech guy, and he comes out and he doesn't. They're never asking him to do anything. So here's the thing:
He's got to figure it out, man.
he has to figure it out not because I can't.
No, that's not what I said. I said your brother's got it figured out. You're screwed.
No, he's
basically.
got two fit, and I'm remixing that. He's got two. I chopped it and turned it to two, like Dilla, like a fresh. No, he's got two figured out. So yeah, I man, just took the tech savvy right out of you, boy, man. I don't want to do nothing. My computer, matter of fact, my computer kind of started acting a little funny, and I was like, this might be it. I just might not be using it no more. I'm not figuring it out.
Man,
You know?
this is the thing: is that as we get older, the nice thing about getting older, one of the many nice things about getting older, is that I realize that backing things up has a diminishing rate of return. Because what am I going to do? I'm going to spend the rest of my life backing up my computer, and then eventually I'm just going to croak, and then who cares? I have 2 copies of all the nonsense that I managed to scavenge through the years. That's ridiculous.
I have a better one for you. That is true, and everything that's been said to this point has been true. But there is something about getting older that is happening to me,
Uh-oh.
and it's real. Like I'm setting this up because it's important for friends and family that listen to the show. I don't want to do nothing.
Oh.
Like that's just it.
So,
I don't want to do
so
nothing.
seen.
Like
I think that's why I like speaking with you, my friend, because I feel seen. First of all, you had me believing, and most of this I have to say, and you'll understand, since most of this is out of respect for your father, is that I don't complain nearly as much as I want to you about my father's calling me, asking for the silliest computer situation.
right.
So, but then it's good to know that maybe your dad does a little bit of that as well.
Yes,
But
absolutely.
I cannot tell you how much doing nothing is a luxury. It's a
Nothing.
luxury.
Just nothing. Nothing. I don't want to do nothing. Period. I'll be at work like the hardest part about work is having to do something. And are you like, okay, let me ask you a question. This is actually, to be honest with you, this is perfect because this was my opening question. Legitimately, I was walking the dog and I was like, I need to ask Kev if he's also like this. Okay. Because, I'll admit that I can be an asshole and I'm fine with that. But okay. Are you the type of person that if you were going to do this, like you were going to do something, like let's say, I don't know, put away the dishes, whatever it is, right? Mm-hmm. You had planned to do it. It was like, okay, I'm going to do that in a minute. And then someone asked you to do it. So then you're like, I don't want to do it anymore because you asked me to do it. Like I was planning on doing it. I was perfectly fine with doing it. But then you asked me to do it, like assuming that I wasn't going to do it. And now I'm like, you know what? I don't want to do it now. I don't want to do it.
I'm actually the opposite, I think.
Okay.
With my wife, just to prove a point. Just to be self-righteous about things. Like in the last 3 weeks has been basically our winter break ended up being like 3 weeks because, and I don't think I said it specifically, but I had COVID. So, which just made me feel super privileged to I'm going to make some jokes here that I think are funny. And this is not to discount, ridicule, or certainly diminish the experience of anyone who had a severe COVID situation in their life, of which there are, I'm sure, many. Sure. But, we by the grace of whatever, science or good fortune or God, none of us had a terribly hard time with it. Except for the fact that it completely screwed up multiple plans that we had.
All your plans.
To the extent that it was just hurry up and wait for the entire break.
Yeah.
To where, but then now, so for the last 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, I was like, I'm not doing anything.
Nope.
Nothing. The only thing we did is we went out, we got the kid tested, so we knew she was negative before she went back to school today.
Word.
That was
so everybody's good now.
Everybody's good. We've been feeling fine, but sometimes that weird thing where, oh, by the way, we should tell everybody because I just learned this, that some people are weirdos and they test positive for days and days and days.
The whole time. Yeah. It's like a never-ending positive. Yeah. Yeah.
But so that was that. But the thing about asking, I had said something about cleaning the gutters, the rain gutters. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But I think in the context of that, and this is to my wife, I said, it hasn't been done for 20 years, so why worry about it now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So one day I go outside to not clean the gutters, and she comes poking her head out, and she was cool. She was like, I'm not telling you to do this now, but remember how you mentioned? And it was about to rain, right? It was like the next day it was supposed to rain, last week. So I was like, all right, come hold the ladder. So I'm risking my life. Whatever Tom Cruise thinks is brave or whatever, forget about that. I'm doing my own stunts. And the part of my roof that I have to climb over, the part outside right in back where there's an overhang, it's not a real roof. It's like the illusion of a roof.
Yeah. It's like,
but you can't see the parts that your leg is going to go through, so you can break.
Yep.
Yep. Your entire
entire leg
stuff.
from
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That's dangerous.
That is very dangerous.
It's pretty treacherous, right? So I have to climb across there to get to the roof. But I did it, and I did it just to prove the point that I could say to her, yeah, okay, I did it. Okay. And then I got to enjoy watching the water actually drain out of the rain gutter the way it's supposed to, not come splashing over the edge like, raging waters or whatever when a fat dude goes down the water slide.
I'm like, what an analogy. Okay, I'm going to tell you why that's awesome. And I wish I was this. So just to sort of sum this all up, like, if there's an obligation, like, don't text me asking me like a casual question about whether, you know what I'm saying? Like, to try to ease into whether I'm doing it, because then I'm just going to like not do it. You know what I mean?
I do. Then I'm just going to say no every week.
No, you don't.
Recording? Are we going to record? Wait, what time?
No, you don't do that. That's the thing is you don't do that. Matter of fact, by the time we talk about recording, it's like 6:15 on the day of. Like, all right, yo, you ready? Which is perfect for me. Like, so I think my wife has figured it out. Actually, she's just, well, maybe she
that's
hasn't.
That's all you can hope
I don't
for,
know. That's me. It's all me. I'm perfectly fine with it. But I'm, we're at that age where it's like, yeah, I'm flawed. Whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. Exactly.
Don't talk to me then.
Exactly. Like, if I'm gonna go wash the dishes, I'm definitely. And it was actually, I think my dad. He didn't set out to teach me this, but I definitely learned that this was at least the way one other person thought about things. He's like, anytime I had roommates or anything, he said, I don't cook. They would cook, so I would clean up. He said that.
Right.
I was like, that sounds fair. I said, I can do that. That's sounds
fair.
like the right.
Yeah. Yeah.
The problem is, and we don't have a tiny, tiny kitchen, but I don't want anyone else in there when I'm washing dishes and throwing the trash out and cleaning up the kitchen.
True, too.
Oh, man. I could be sitting there at the dinner table for an hour and a half while my daughter pushes that bean around the plate for the last 30 minutes, not wanting to eat that last piece of lettuce or whatever. The second I get up to go wash the dishes, dude, everybody follows me into that kitchen. And I'm wrong. It's everyone's right to be in there. I didn't sign it out or anything like that, But so I will get up now. I will go into the kitchen knowing they're going to follow me. They follow me in. I walk right out. I go take a nap. Then I get up and it's dark in there because it's late. So I'm like, I'm going to go wash the dishes now. And it's like a half hour later. I get up, I go in the kitchen. Suddenly everybody shows up, turn the lights on. It's like a surprise party. They're back in the kitchen.
He said it's like a surprise party, you stupid.
I'm not asking for a lot. I'm just saying this because I know that at some point my wife will want to have evidence that I'm a jerk. What better way to do it than on tape?
Oh yeah, that's what my wife has. My wife has pictures of me being a jerk. Like I don't know how the moment was captured, but it's like you were being a jerk right there. And I'm like, all right, I guess that's what it is.
Like
sure, we were in Hawaii on the beach. It's like
it's like she's like your anniversary at some point. She's just gonna do an iMovie to Eye of the Tiger, just a montage of you being a jerk.
Yeah, and it's like I'm not making a different face in the pictures as the time I wasn't being a jerk. It's just this actual photo evidence of it. I think that it's very clear. What time? Before we move on, because this is great for me. This is like
great content. Yeah,
this is awesome. What time is your? All right, y'all. Like, it's time for y'all to go over there and me to go over here. Like, what time of the day or night is that? Is it early morning where it's like, yo, give me like an hour before y'all come in here with whatever y'all come in here with? Like, I have a time of day where it's like, okay, y'all, that's it. Like, I'm about to sit here and do something else. Y'all go wherever y'all gonna go. I'm done.
Wow.
Is there a time of day for you?
You really are the king of your castle. No, at best it's a sliding scale. I have to get up at about 3:45 in the morning to have time to myself.
Same. No. You're thinking that I'm winning these conversations. I'm saying when do you decide that they're breaking it anyway? They're all in the kitchen. Like it doesn't matter. Yeah. But when is at what time are you like, okay, y'all, maybe you know what I mean? There's some coloring books somewhere. Like somebody do something else. All right.
I have no control. I have no control. And I told my wife, I was like, listen, there was a long period of time where I would have done anything for you to follow me around. And I'm done with that. I don't want that anymore.
No, it was great when you weren't giving instructions during the fall. Like, it was fine. Like, oh, yeah, you want to hang out? You want to chill? Like, oh, that's cool. But now it's like after a couple minutes, it's like, maybe we should buy a new. It's like, oh, my God, no. Just sit here. Please. What happened to just sitting here? All right, look, let me move on. Yo.
I'm trying to figure out what chair to get. Look at these chairs. I was like, does my butt fit on it? That's all I need is an ass. All I need is an ass-sized chair. I don't care. Get whatever chair. Get the universal ass-sized chair, and we're gonna be just fine.
The universal ass-sized chair is great. Kev, you ready to get to the other side, man?
I am.
Now that yo, side note before. Matter of fact, you know what? Let's get to the other side. I'll take you to the other side. All right, y'all. Let's go.
Rap Sucks Radio. Blah, 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 blah.
What up, y'all? You are live on Rap Sucks Radio with your homeboy Track Life and your fam, Kev Sakota.
You're going to get me murdered. My wife is going to murder me.
This whole conversation. Because she in the other room just with the bat, like warrior, I could hear the warriors come out and play bottles. Thank y'all for tuning in, man. We appreciate each and every one of y'all. If you'd like to catch past episodes of Rap Sucks Radio, you could go to rapsucksradio.com or any of your favorite podcasting platforms. And if you'd like to catch us on your television, you can go to BTSN, that's Behind the Scenes Network. Download the app or channel on any of your Roku or Amazon Fire devices. We are right there with plenty of other dope content. BTSN, Behind the Scenes Network. We want in. And you can also follow us on Rap Sucks Radio on Instagram and RSR Podcast on Facebook. What I was going to say was the roof moment. I was thinking that Al Bundy, you know, that typical Al Bundy thing where he fall and they drop the like dummy. You just see him like, it's like, oh man, that's why I'm a condo guy. All right. All right, Kev, so we kind of have a freelance conversation here. I've been wanting to do something like this a lot. We talked about this a little bit throughout the year, so hopefully you guys enjoy it and we can kind of stay on task and on topic. Fortunately, it's about music, so it's something both of us can, you know, kind of hang with. Title of this episode is Gimme That Beat or Nah. Right? All right. Topic number was titled Beats, Rhymes, and Intellectual Property Infringement. Listen, this is what happened. Rapper, I don't know the rapper's name, took producer Knowledge's beats, created an album, and put it on Spotify. Am I correct about that, Kev?
Something like that.
Something like that.
At least a song. Yeah.
Yeah, song or yeah. So the source for this is Twitter. So this is off of Knowledge's Twitter, where things kind of were revealed or whatever. Nobody has written about it. I went to OK Player assuming that they would be talking about it, but nobody else has really talked about it. Players involved are rappers versus producers. Knowledge, of course, being the producer here. So I'm going to read the two Knowledge tweets that came out, and then we can kind of discuss some of the other things that you saw and I saw on our Twitter timelines. Twitter is a cesspool of trash and horrility. That's not even a word, but whatever. But this was actually kind of interesting, and I we talked about it in the middle of the week. So anyway, Knowledge in all caps tweeted, "Stop rapping, singing on my beats without my permission, then releasing them on streaming services. I'll keep deleting your songs and albums faster than they can get heard. You're getting my own music created on my stream flagged. Stop disrespecting my work and time." After receiving several responses to this, whatever. He tweeted again in all caps, "So strange that none of you can grasp the fact that I make instrumentals for the sake of it being instrumental. I've never sold beats to artists, and I never will. Appreciate and respect it for what it is, or make your own shit. Simple." All right, Kev. So you brought this to my attention. What did you see that brought this up for you?
I saw DiBiase. I can't remember what day it was, and that might be why we haven't seen any articles because it's relatively recent. But DiBiase,
the tweets came out on Christmas, by the way. The tweets were on a December 20th.
So then, and like most things on Twitter, I probably caught up to it a little bit later than everybody else. But no, from Cunning Linguists and DiBiase, who are very active on Twitter, also incredibly talented producers who I follow. We're all over it, and kind of part of the more, our generation, I would say, even though they're younger than me for sure, but definitely part of the OG squad at this point on the production tip and hip hop tip. So they were certainly supporting Knowledge. I don't know Knowledge, but I totally understand what he's saying,
Yeah, sure.
But that's how I saw it, and yeah, it just kind of blew my mind. I saw somebody right underneath that, whatever one of the comments underneath Knowledge's tweet. I scrolled through a few of them when he sent, because I hadn't seen the tweet. This is the first time I saw the tweet. Is a young lady who said, "I'm shocked that there isn't consensus in the comments on this," and I assumed she meant like agreeing with him, but I was like, "That's exactly."
Well, that's what Twitter is. I'm sorry, homegirl, but that's Twitter. Twitter is just disagreement. Even if you agree, you go to Twitter to disagree. Question for you though. There were a few kind of dweebish comments. So, you had your sort of like goofball rappers. I'm gonna rap over your stuff and put it out anyway. Like, I don't know, like whatever.
Right.
Yeah, your cousin and your, homeboy, the 4 people that listen to it, they'll figure it out. But what is the difference between this and sampling?
Well, what I was going to ask you is, do you think that if we had Twitter back when we were having some of these, because I know how I felt about sampling, is that, it was fantastic, but we knew, I think everyone who did it, no one was like, oh, I can't believe that we're going to get, and most of it was because there were people who probably didn't really think about it too much, who we saw getting in trouble for it.
Sure.
Who we loved, whose music we loved, and who I was like, well, they got hit for it and they're dope. I'm not dope. I'm definitely going to get killed for this. But nobody was doing it saying like, yeah, I dare you to come after me. It's like, you're going to have a fake gangster rapping on you and you're a fake gangster producer. It's like, come on, man. you're stealing somebody's stuff. It's like, don't be a jerk about it or whatever. So there was so much that was different in terms of the communication about it, or the way you could talk about it online and publicly wasn't there. Also, the means to just instantly manufacture and distribute the music was not there for us as well.
Absolutely. I was conflicted. I thought about this since we talked about it earlier in the week. And I think I came to a conclusion that I've never thought of it this way before. Yeah, when did you become like a superhero that protects other people's intellectual property by rapping over somebody's beats? Like, I'm like watching people say, well, rappers don't clear samples, but then they get mad. Okay, so, and then what? So then that means that who are you, like the intellectual property hero that comes in with a big IP on your chest and saves the day? Like, so what? You know what I mean? It's not like, so then so what is your response accomplishing is, I guess, my point. Like, so you rapping over this rapper's beats means that you're protecting James Brown's samples? What are you doing by making this statement? At what point do you realize that you're just making, you're trying to make an excuse for your actions? And that's all that this is. So you trying to present it like you're some, altruistic, great human being by saying, well, you're sampling, so I'm doing the anti-hero thing by rapping over your beat. It's like, stop.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Shut up.
That's
that has nothing to do with anything.
So
I think that's
stupid
kind of
Inception.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a goof nut Inception. And, I've never really thought of things that way before, because I've actually kind of been on the fence about it. Like, well, yeah, I guess if you sample, but then I guess it's like, okay, well, what are you, like a vigilante? So what?
Right.
With that being said, I think that it takes a lot of nerve to take something directly off someone's instrumental project and put it out on a streaming service for paid download. I get it if you drop it on, I mean, I know you can make money on YouTube, but if you drop it on YouTube, or, you drop it on, some type of SoundCloud download service. Yeah. I mean, I know you can get paid on all of these platforms. I understand that, but like to put it on Spotify or like Apple Music, if I took a Dilla instrumental tape and just was like, yo, I'm about to make an album over this and put it out, that's a bit much to me,
right.
And that's a bit different than sampling, unless I'm just straight looping. You know what I mean? Like, just I'm looping all the Earth, Wind, and Fire's joints, straight loops, and putting them out. Like, that's not normally what's happening. Normally there's some chops, there's some creativity there. There's some, kind of rare groove type loops or rare loops involved. But to just absolutely say, yo, Knowledge put out a beat tape, I'm going to go purchase that joint on Bandcamp, and then I'm going to flip it and put it like, that, I don't know how people can't see where that's whack. Or maybe I'm tripping.
And we're also really good at rationalizing messed up things that we, it's like the law doesn't usually take, the best rationalism into account when they make judgments, right? So like, I remember a period where it's like, okay, well, like I loved Kwame's The Rhythm, right? Bob James sample, right? Mm-hmm. By the way, Bob James, a guy who I think did not like sampling at all, and has grown to sort of appreciate some of the art, the artistry associated with it through the years after the Peter Piper stuff. I'm assuming that's where it came from, his initial sort of experience with it. But so that Kwame record came out, and then it was a number of years later that Preem did The Question Remains. And when I heard that, I was like, that was like a new level that had been set, a new bar, right? I was like, wow, that, his chop was so crazy. And there have been a lot of, and those are the kind of producers that I think the people that I, associate with in hip hop, like you and, our friends that like would appreciate that. It show a higher level of appreciation with someone who's chopping stuff like that, or of course Dilla, and Pete Rock, these chops that were just like beat nuts, did plenty of like, oh my goodness, right?
Diamond D.
Diamond D for sure. And there was an artistry to that where you remember when Puffy came along and Puffy was basically just playing the record and you just rap over it, or super long loops and stuff once you had the technology to be able to do that easily. But he was doing, looking back now, I can say in fairness, he was doing something that was it was like a different genre. He was making these super pop records, and they happened to use those loops, but we hated on it, one, because it was a little bit soft or whatever for whatever our mind felt at the time. But plus there wasn't a whole lot of, it didn't seem like there was a lot of creativity in the sampling process, right? That doesn't take away from the success of the records or whatever, whether it was a good song or not. So we always go through stuff like that. This conversation was weird to me because it was about people trying to talk business in a sensible way. And the only people to me who were making sense were the grown folks.
Yes. And you mentioned that, and it goes kind of back to the difference between our ability to put records out and the speed we could put it out and just the overall climate. I mean, now that's just what it seems like. I don't know, young people, y'all can correct me if you do listen to this show, or anybody who's around young people. I remember making a statement about hip hop, and I had a random kind of like old dudes just like, no, that's not how young people are. And I'm like, dude, like too young. Shut up. But no, it just seems like that's what you do. You know what I mean? Like you do something and you put it out. You don't.
Right.
Lightning. There's no. We may have wanted to do that, and I can think of artists that worked with that type of speed, like not bad. I'm gonna have to edit this out, but hold on. Is that an earthquake or is that rain? Yo, it's crazy. If it was rain, it's like somebody poured a bucket on top of the house. That was wild. Like I was like, wait a minute. Okay. I'm sorry. Back to my point is, I can think of people like Tumex, or OMD, a lot of the Bloatians who would kind of like put music out with this kind of speed, right? They create and put out. Too Short was allegedly another one like that. Like it was straight out the studio, right onto the, onto whatever pressing factory and out, right? But it's never with the speed that it's done with now. So it's almost like I want to pin a lack of respect on the young folks, but I really can't, because this is just the mode of operation. You know what I'm saying? To the point where okay, Trek, you put out a beat joint. I like that beat. I'm about to rap over this and put it out and get props for the verses. You know what I'm saying? The only thing is I just don't understand, and this is really not a profound thought. I just don't understand how you can go to the how your brain just disconnects it, making money off of it without talking to the artist. Like, you know what I'm saying? I just think that is not a young person thing. That's a trash person thing. The young folks that's doing that are probably not representative of the young MCs that are coming up now and trying to get make their way. I think those is goofy dudes that are, that are trying to manipulate this climate. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of goofball, and plus they probably suck. Like there was also, like I think we would support people who were just blatantly sampling and not clearing stuff, right? If we thought they were dope, right? And then if the old head, like, who they sampled, like, came back and tried to be angry or, sue them or whatever, be like, F them or whatever, it's like... Yeah. Well, we knew. Yeah. It was like, well, who do you think we're going to be cheering for? But at the same time, the people we were cheering for were dope. And by the way, we probably also really did love the people they were sampling as well, because everyone was sampling them for the most part. Right. So there wasn't really like and which may be the case for some of the people who were, arguing with Knowledge or DiBiase or No or whoever, right? Like they might feel the same way at the end of the day. But I think the really goofy ones were the ones who are like, well, if you don't make beats available on BeatStars for $15 a beat, how are we supposed to get permission to rap on your beats? It's like, well, maybe you don't deserve to even ask for permission.
Or you don't.
You're not to the point yet. Maybe I don't want to work with... Maybe Knowledge just wanted to put out an instrumental record and didn't want to have any rap. Maybe he don't like rappers. Maybe he only likes possible. Anderson .Paak. Who knows?
Yeah. It's possible. No, honestly, it's to me, I think where I love the beat scene, I also think it had a lot to do with the downfall of quality. Not the downfall, that's poor wording. I'm sorry. With whatever has changed, whatever direction rap went in, to where it became this sort of... The profession was already slimy, but the artistry wasn't slimy. And then it just like, now it's like, it just has a film on it that I don't like now. You know what I'm saying? But I think a lot of I think the producer era, the fan base and some of the producers started pegging that era as like an anti-rap era. You know what I'm saying? Where I like these instruments because I don't want to hear these rappers, and I don't want rappers rapping over my beats. So I also can see, like, as an MC, I can see like the offense. Like, yo, wait a minute. Why is everything our fault? It's kind of one of those questions I kind of had for years. Like, why is everything in hip hop rappers' fault? Every negative in hip hop, it's because of rappers. You know what I'm saying? And so I also can kind of see how we got here, where rappers is like, you know what, F that. I'm gonna take your beats and rap over it. I would never do it, but I can kind of see that, Kev. Like, you know what I'm saying? It makes a little bit of sense.
The whole point to me is like, take some accountability. If you're gonna steal somebody's stuff, then realize that you just stole somebody's stuff, and there's gonna be potentially some repercussions for it. If you think you're Debo, then you better be ready to be Debo.
Sure.
But don't
cease and desist. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was another thing that, like, even No was like, if you make me take the one extra step of having to do the cease and desist, it's like, that you're wasting my time. Why would I want to work with you? You're wasting my time. And Knowledge is the point that Knowledge made about, because of that the AI involved, that if you're going to put my beat up with your name on it, you might mess my play counts up or get my stuff taken down, and I didn't even know because I'm not paying attention to your dumb ass.
Yeah.
And now I have to deal with this, and I didn't even know this happened? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because like, going back to the original analogy, if we were to, like, if someone was to press up a white label and get it on the shelves at Tower Records, all across the state of California, right? You couldn't just do that, first of all. One, pressing records is expensive, time consuming. Two, getting distribution is not an easy thing to do, right? So then at some point you've made an investment. And so you know that if someone's going to come after you, it's like you're in, And I think that's part of the thing too, is that I think that's certainly something that I would hope the young people don't even think about, because they don't need to.
Yeah.
It's like, but it's like, dude, this used to be a lot harder to do. You are able to, like you said, to take your words one step further. Nowadays, not only can you record and mix and master in your room, in your bedroom, right, but you can also almost instantly get your song in the biggest quote unquote record stores in the world.
Yeah.
Global distribution, right? Which is
immediately
is nuts. And it's kind of becoming an issue just because there's so much, every year there's like 20,000 more records or songs a month or whatever it is that are getting uploaded to those sites. It's like, I don't know, nobody has time for that. So yeah, it's kind of nuts. But I mean,
kind of sticking to your point though, Kev. You said make records in your room. It's a small desk, a laptop. This isn't you don't need an ADAT or any of that DAT machine, no reel to reel, no nothing, right? Because people were making records in small confined spaces or their own space, but it's like the cost was incredible. If your uncle buys you a laptop for Christmas, you're in. Some headphones, you don't even need no monitors. You know what I'm saying? So the creative risk is so limited. There's no waste of anything, right? An extra hard drive is of no legitimate expense. So I think that the quality or the desire to do something like that, to take a whole knowledge instrumental project or just one of its instrumentals, or take joints from Duke Westlake or whomever and put them out, is different than us, because there was, you mentioned this earlier, but I'm kind of going back through it, itemizing it. There was some investment before even pressing it up. You had to pay for that DAT tape. You had to pay for those reels. If you were going to go in there and record, you probably wasn't going to go over there and record over something. Well, you probably, in a weird way you couldn't, but you weren't just going to go record over something random because it costs money to record it, let alone what you mentioned, itemizing, pressing it up and distributing it, etc. With all that being said, I'm still going to take the dark side here a little bit. I am. I've worked with quite a few producers over my lifetime, and I've never worked with a whack producer in my life. I've said no to producers, and I would not say, if you're listening to the show or you've heard me talk about not working with people, it was really not because you were whack. It was where my life was at the time. And in a lot of cases, early on when my daughter was born, I wasn't doing anything. I was a father, you know what I'm saying, of a child who slept pretty well, but still was a baby, right? But the beats I was sent were not of the quality and care that was equal to the beat tapes y'all was putting out. You know what I'm saying? So I found myself a lot of times like, hey, let's work. And, then they'd send me some beats and I'd be like, oh, okay, these are dope. Then I'd go listen to their instrumental project, be like, yo, can I just get track 4 off the instrumental project? Because it sounds like you care more about these beats than you care about the ones you sent to me. You know what I mean? So there's that side of it too, where as a rapper, I might ask to work with you, but what you're sending me is not that heat that you put out for your art. You know what I mean? I don't know. I know this probably kind of sounds pretty whack. I know a lot of producers are listening, but I don't make music that much no more, so y'all can be mad at me. So, but it does sound like y'all, a lot of producers, they're not giving you the same heat that they're putting out on their own. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So if I do clear with you, it's almost like, can I just clear that one? You know? Because I know you gave a fuck about that one.
But that's the thing. Also, you were at a point and had a relationship to where you could at least make a joke about it. It's like, what are you giving me? You're giving me the B-sides.
Right.
You gave that dude the A-side. It's like, at least I know where I stand, but if nothing,
right.
Why don't you give me one of those? Let me have one of those.
I mean,
you know?
Kev, it would be this amazing production with a flowing bass line on their beat CD, and then I'd get like the Laffy Taffy joints. I'm like, yo, give me the heat.
And,
you know what I mean?
And also, as much as and when I say 20,000 more records per month, I'm saying that each month the total number of songs being uploaded increases by 20,000 per month.
Yeah,
it's like a crazy figure. And I say that to say that while that may make it seem as though the community is massive and the universe is limitless, it's not. The relationships of people who are actually dope still matter. You might not be one of them, mind you. And it's not up to a dope producer to tell a rapper who's half his or her age that they're not dope all the time, unless they really want to take you under their wing. You have to be special to even get told that you are not dope yet. You have to be special to even be told by a dope person that you are not dope yet.
Correct.
That means you might be dope one day, but right now is not that day.
Yeah, right now you need some work. Yeah.
But that community is small, and I think that if you make it to a certain point in whatever facet of the industry that you're in, you understand that there is a certain level of respect and collaboration involved, even if you're not directly working together. Like, I did the radio show. That gave me an open lane to play. I would make some. I generally try not to play the most terrible things that I made on the radio show. But if I happened to remix someone's song and I liked what I liked what I did, I would play it. But I'd make sure that I played the actual single just as many times, if not more. You know what I mean? Because that's just out of respect. It's not more. You weren't making any particular dollars off of it. Well, exactly. That's the thing. I wasn't. Yeah, it was selfish. I can say that. I would have said it at the time. It's selfish for me. Well, more selfish for me to play my version than their version. But I also was like, but it's my show. But I also appreciate the fact that it's their record. I'm going to play their record as well. But yeah, you're right. I'm not getting paid for it. I'm not, It's
and I'm not going to, I don't want to over rationalize this, by the way, not to cut you off. But the other thing is, it's a radio show. So if that artist needs promo and they hit you up, you would have interviewed them on the show, right? If that artist drops a new single or a new record, you would have also played that new record, right? Like it's what's happening here simply is just people listening to beat projects, putting them out and putting their name on them like they did them.
Right.
This is different from even sampling. Like sampling, no one is claiming that they were part of this record, right? If I sample Earth, Wind, and Fire, I'm not saying I was a member or, had it any, you know what I'm saying? It's a sample. And, in this case, you're attaching your name to knowledge as though there's some collaboration here. I'm not saying this is... there is some equality in it, right? There's equal audacity in sampling and just putting out. Like, I'm not saying there's zero audacity in sampling a record and looping a record and putting it out. I'm not saying that and not clearing it or whatever. But at the same time, it is different. I never told you that I knew Miles Davis. I never, put a record out like me and Miles Davis worked together. And, when Ghostface was rapping over full songs.
That's what I was just going to say.
They were mixtape records,
takes a
though.
Special kind of, if you're going to rap over an entire Delphonics record, you have to be Ghostface Killer. And you, in no universe on this or any other world, Marvel, DC, or otherwise, will ever be Ghostface.
But even those were mixtape records. I mean, he eventually made money off them, but they were mixtape records, right? It's not like you understand what I'm saying? Like, if Knowledge was upset because someone put a record out on their SoundCloud, I'd be like, yo, Knowledge, come on, man. You know what this is, man. Like, this is practice for these dudes. I know you don't like it, but you're gonna just kind of not like it, and you know what I'm saying. But once that joint hits Spotify and Apple Music and it's whatever, I'm like, yo, what are you doing, bro? You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you fucking it up for everybody now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so, and look, bottom line is this. I was a bit too prideful to ask to work with producers. I think I've asked once in my life. I can tell you a very short story. I asked once in my life. The producer said nah. But they said nah in a way as though, there was some circumstance to it. But then when I heard the record they put out, it was like everybody was on the record. I was like, okay, so it was just no to me. Fine. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, and this is why I don't ask. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't like that embarrassing feel. So I understand, man. Like, trust me, as an MC, I understand. We're like the pariahs of hip hop. We're the worst thing ever. I get it. You know what I mean? Like, rappers are the worst, right? We did everything. We ruined everything. We came in your home. We stole your dishes. We did all this stuff, right? But there's a point in which, as an MC, like, you're trying to get people to understand that you're dope. You know what I'm saying? I know this. There are no more open mics. At least not that they're not popular. Well, there aren't any, too many popular ones, right? If there are, they're few and far between. They might be a couple joints in New York. I know that. Wow, man, I feel horrible for forgetting the name of it, but that they went ahead and went online with it and all of that. And dope MCs coming out of there, right? Career building, open mics were career building. Project Blow, with respect to Project Blow, without even trying, created a community of artists that were and executives that have been successful for a lifetime, just off of creating an open mic. But these things don't exist anymore. Your open mic is Twitter. If you watched this is a beyond rap a little bit, but if you watched the New Year's show on whatever with Ryan Seacrest, the amount of times they introduced an artist and said released on TikTok, it was crazy. Like, that's the outlet. So, man, that's what you guys are into. That's what the kids are into. I'm just saying, again, not a profound statement, but it's like, yo, that is still somebody else's work, man. Yeah. Like, respect that it's somebody else's work. You putting it out for sale, putting it out and competing directly with the platform that it just don't make no sense. Not to me. So,
yeah. I mean, yeah. Don't come on.
Yeah,
come on.
Settle down.
Normally I would say you're better than that, but I heard your record.
You're not.
You're not better than that.
You're not better than that. No, you're not. And it's okay because we've created old head, shout out to us. We created an environment where you don't have to be dope no more. And that's fine. But still though, you're not dope. And that's okay. It doesn't matter. Yeah. It stopped mattering years ago. It's okay. Yeah. But yeah. Stop.
You are like if Chat GPT beta version was a rapper. That's what you said.
All right, look, man. I think that I want to just kind of keep this show directly to that topic only. I will say this, and this is a bit of a downer in the mood, but we lost at the end of the year. I didn't find out till recently, so I lost another member of my village, Mr. Carruthers. So rest in peace to Mr. Leonard Carruthers. My man L's father passed away on the 29th of December. So again, rest in peace to Mr. Griffin and also Mr. Carruthers, two men who raised me, who part of the village that raised me, and you'll be sorely missed. So there's not a ton to say about that other than rest in peace and your sons and myself will definitely keep your legacy, your thoughts, your words moving forward, living on. with all that being said, man, thank y'all for tuning in. We appreciate each and every one of y'all. This has been Rap Sucks Radio with your homeboy Trek Life and your fam Kev Sakota.
Old head energy in the
Old
place.
head energy in the place. In the place. It's that Rob Bass and the DJ Easy Rock drop for that one. Right about now. Yo, catch us on, man. Follow us on Instagram at Rap Sucks Radio or Facebook at RSR Podcast. You can go ahead and catch past episodes on rapsucksradio.com. You can see us visually. Redundancy. You can catch us on your television on BTSN, Behind the Scenes Network. But we out of here like last year, man. You can also wait, Kev. I'm sorry. You can catch me doing Laker highlight or Laker post-game discussions on What's in the Box Trek. And catch me and my man Suge on the Mr. Suge and Trek Life show every Thursday, 6 p.m. on my Twitch, which is Trek Life Music. All of that. Remember all of that. Write it all down.
And also, Trek Life. What's your Instagram handle again?
Just Trek Life.
At Trek Life? Your number one source for incel bashing 24/7.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Yo. It was like, yo. Woo.
Woo.
Andrew Tate brought y'all out. Hey, y'all was in y'all feel. Y'all was so hurt.
Oh, man.
I was like,
I didn't even have to watch the Whitney Houston movie. That whole thread was so emotional.
It was so emotional. It was like, it's a bunch of Carl Thomas album covers on this. It's like, are you guys serious right now? Wait, here's the funny thing.
That whole comment thread looked like a Carl Thomas sweater.
It was crazy. Was it H-Town? Emotions make you sad sometimes? Like, I was like, yo, this is insane. Are y'all really that mad? Like, yo, the best one before we buzz, the best one. This was my favorite one. My man. Shout out to my man, right? He's a fan of Andrew Tate, which, hey, I never said don't be one. I didn't say it was wrong to like Andrew. I never said that at all. We didn't even say that on this show, but whatever. But what was funny was
you're going to have to take the collect call, but other than that,
Other than that, it's on you. I did have one insane person, which I'm not going to get into that one because that was already crazy. If dude crossed platforms, he was so mad. It was wild out. But dude comments on my IG page, right? I'm like, okay. And the comment wasn't even like disrespectful. He was like, it was something simple, like, yo, I like Andrew Tate. And I'm like, oh, okay. But I mean, I didn't. Okay, that's cool. You can like Andrew Tate. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? I mean, I would say but that's your opinion. Then I think he further said like he gets people's feelings hurt, right? I was like, okay. That might be something that he does on a regular basis. I don't follow him, so maybe people do get their feelings hurt when Andrew Tate says something, right? I'd imagine that's true. He says some provocative things, and people might have an emotional response to them, right? But in this case, I don't know why I need to explain this, Kev, but in this case, he was the one who reached out to try to smash somebody, got smashed, and we're laughing about it. That's all that happened. I don't know how else to explain this to you. That's all that happened, right? So I said, it seems to be the other way around in this case. That's all I said, Kev. I didn't say your mama's a dirty nothing. I just said, no, it's around on you because now I'm on your mind every day. I was like,
wow. No.
Nick, you are hurt. You're hurt.
I don't know.
I was like,
this was probably when I got chased out of the kitchen. I was looking at Instagram while I was waiting to go wash the dishes. Climbed up on the roof and looked at Instagram, popped it open. I somehow saw your post, and I was like, oh, this seems like there's quite a bit of engagement here. And I looked, I was like, oh, time to go. I jumped off the roof.
I'm out of here. Al Bundy.
I'm out of here.
Yo, that's the funny thing. I wasn't responding to anyone. Marcus was just like, I was like, are y'all typing on sidekicks? Like I could hear the clicks from here. Are y'all okay? Listen, Andrew Tate fans that are listening to this show, this is your moment. I know you wanted a moment, so I'm gonna give y'all a moment. Look, geek down, yo. Settle down, fam. It's all good. Settle down, yo. We make fun, and I don't know why. It's the first time we've had to do this on this show, right?
I don't know.
We make fun of a lot of people. We make fun of him. He played himself. If you have a hero, you have to learn to accept that even your hero can take L's. I understand that he's your hero. He's, like an incel god, and I get it. But, even your heroes can take L's, man. Sometimes they get clowned.
He's got an L-shaped catcher's mitt.
He took an L.
He took all the L's.
He took all the L's. And folks was like, whew.
And let's not lie and say that we will never make fun of him again.
Oh my God!
From what I can tell, it's very likely that we will.
Oh, we're going to. Now I might do it.
But now that I know there's an audience for it, because I stole that picture, I sampled that picture. I think Knowledge created that image, and I just took it from him.
You took it and put it out.
You take credit for it. Yeah, I will. I will create more. I will take more time and create an original Photoshop work next time.
That was a funny week. I was more entertained this week than I've been in so long. I couldn't believe it. I was like, yo, it's like 80 y'all. People was coming in with like, no followers, no post accounts.
Oh, it was bot central. I feel like
I was like, are y'all?
Yeah.
Is this real?
There was a bunch of Megans.
Shout out to my man though, the dude that I haven't really had a desire to buy a new car. I don't want a car payment, but an electric car sounds like an okay idea, maybe a hybrid. But I've never wanted an electric car more now than I do now. Like I really, really want one. If I know that driving by you is gonna have you like, don't you drive my car? I'm like, were your grandparents or your parents like leaded gasoline fans? What happened then? That shit was great.
Oh my God! I'd drive an electric car just to make sure that I don't get washed by Greta. Have her putting me 6 feet underground on a daily basis. Man. I'm scared of that. I'm scared of the young lady.
Feelings, boy. Those feelings were really, really rough. I felt so bad. I was like, we need a counselor to go through these and just talk to y'all, man. Y'all was beat up. All right, man. We gonna go.
Ralph Tresvant. That's the name of your comment thread. Ralph Tresvant.
People went full on. It's like, all right, man. Anyway, that was great. I wasn't even gonna try to talk to it. I didn't want to talk about it this episode. I was just gonna let everybody just bask in it's like a bath bomb full of L's. Like if people were laying in L's, the whole thread. I was like, God, dog, this is disgusting how much you guys are L'ing yourselves. But anyway, man, thank y'all for tuning in, man. We out of here like last year. On the count of three, we say peace. 1, 2, 3. Peace. We out, y'all. Y'all so stupid, yo. All right, we out for real. Peace.